Trading card grading prices are in what I would call kind of the beginning of a free fall. So the good news is, for a long time, whereas it would have taken a lot of money to grade a trading card, it's slowly but surely becoming more affordable. But that leads to a very interesting question. When should you grade your trading cards? And more importantly, is this the right time? Well, we're going to talk about that. But before we do, let's roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, we talk about the cost of grading trading cards and how it has slowly but surely not only normalized, but now is doing the exact opposite of what it's been doing for the past few years and is actually decreasing in price as graded trading card companies begin the process of opening back up and resuming a more normalized business model. So, before we get started, as usual, if you like today's video, definitely feel free to leave a like, and hey, if you're not already, you might want to consider subscribing. Just a few more to 1,600, but hey, you never know if you could be the one. But either way, if you like today's content and you want to support the channel, it is the freest and the easiest way to do so, especially if you want to support the work that I do here on the channel to help spread some knowledge about the Pokemon trading card game and the collecting hobby at large. But without further ado, psacard.com, the link will be down below to all of the pages that I'm showing. And other than that, let's jump right on in. So, if you were to go to the psacard.com webpage, here's what you're going to see. And it's pretty big and pretty right in front of your face. Exclusive to Collector Club, $18 bulk grading, PSA's lowest price. Now, a lot of what I'm going to focus on today is PSA. However, do bear in mind that PSA will set the market and then they will be beat by CGC, BGS, SGC, whoever have you. And then, in turn, PSA will compete, as businesses do, and go ahead and beat them. So, although I'm speaking about PSA today, do know that much of what is discussed fundamentally is also true of CGC, BGS, and more or less any legitimate grading company that you can find out there that grades trading cards, specifically Pokemon. Now, $18 is a big deal, and it is a big deal because for the past few years we have seen prices very much above that to grade a trading card. In summary, as the COVID pandemic hit and as collectibles spiked as a result of the pandemic, what ended up happening is a lot of people started submitting trading cards. As a result, many of these grading companies either had to raise their prices to stop people from submitting trading cards, or take advantage of the fact that trading cards were so popular to grade, and so as a result, they could make more money for doing very little to no extra work. And more importantly, they could take their sweet time doing it because it was such a in-demand business that the price on the services could be inflated to meet that demand. So, what that caused is a really weird situation for some of the people who have been around the hobby longer, probably outwards of 5 years. You were in the hobby long enough to know that grading trading cards used to grade for as little as $7 to $8 a card. And now having to pay $30 for the minimum level of service at PSA, at BGS, at CGC was a very hard pill to swallow, and it didn't really make sense because you weren't getting anything truly distinctly different that would merit a 300 to 400% increase in price. Now, those numbers I'm quoting, you know, in the single digits, like $7, $8, $9, were those grading specials. So they didn't come around every once in a while, but they, you know, popped up here and there, and you could take advantage of them if you were a Collectors Club member. However, you know, we're still seeing 100 to 150% increases on base services. So just as an example, over here in the trading card game section, you can see that for things like grading, you know, the services have increased quite a bit in terms of value. So you can see that there are different service levels with greatly changed turnaround times. So the regular is now a 15 to 30, the economy is 45 to 90, And of course, there are also some really wonky prices that are stuck onto the back of this that also really don't help the cause. So, long story short, for a very long time, it's kind of been tough grading trading cards, especially at the bulk or the lower value level. However, PSA recently made some pretty big news because they announced that if you are a Collectors Club member, you will now have the ability to submit bulk at whenever you want, which is amazing. Again, this is a huge deal because in the past few years, you've really been restricted to what you could submit and how much you could submit of it. And part of the reason for that was because it was incredibly expensive to submit trading cards, and as a result, it really limited what you wanted to submit, because obviously you wouldn't want to submit a Dragon Majesty Charizard Holo because for the most part it may not even be worth the same value as you paid to get it graded if it had graded a 7 or an 8 or a 9, and it simply was not worth it. However, at this lower price, they are hoping that some people will begin the process of submitting trading cards. So here's what's cool. With this bulk service, it's 120 calendar days, which is effectively 4 months, not including weekends. Declared value must be less than or not equal to $199 per card, and there's a 25 card minimum. So 18 bucks a card, pretty solid deal. It's less than 20, no duh. You come here because it's the Analytic Gengar, friends. Remember, you clicked on the video. However, the main thing to remember here is that this is a service that is available to people anytime they want, assuming you are a customer with them and a member with them, which is again $100 annually. Now, if you really think about it, you only need to submit 50 trading cards for this to be worth the cost of the annual subscription. So if you assume you were submitting at $20 a card and you're now only having to submit at $18 a card, ignoring the timing difference, in theory, you're saving $2 a card, so 50 cards is going to be $100. Anything you submit over that is just a anytime you want discount that you could take. And it's a 5% discount, which is not insignificant in the grand scheme of things. There's also a value service level, which is $30 a card. It's about 90 to 120 calendar days, and declared value must not exceed $499 a card. So for $12 more, you do get a pretty large increase to declared value, and that allows you to submit some cards that you think are either going to grade very highly, things like Moonbreons, things like some vintage cards. This is theoretically where you should be placing your cards of a higher value into this service level. And again, in case anyone's curious, what ends up happening is if you submit at this level and your cards exceed the value that the threshold is set at, which is $199 per card, after it is graded, what will happen is they will charge you at the appropriate service level while having taken the same amount of time. So technically, you could have gotten your cards back quicker because you submitted it at the correct service level. By the way, if you guys want to learn more about declared value and PSA upcharges, let me know down below in the comments. I have been working on a video and scripting a video, but it'd be really nice to know that people are excited to see it, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted on the development and when that video gets posted. Now, you might think that this video is done, and you'd be wrong, because your boy got to hit that 10-minute mark. But there's more to talk about. Now, the main thing we're going to talk about is the PSA grading specials page. And recently, news broke that on top of your $18 PSA Club bulk service level, you can now also submit TCG bulk for $3 less, so $15 a card. And this is a 10 card minimum. So in theory, you can submit basically any Pokemon card you want, or Yu-Gi-Oh card you want, or any TCG card you want. And as long as it's under that $199, you're going to be paying $15 a card. And on top of that, news recently broke over on the PSA Card Twitter account that in September, Pokemon was up from August in terms of overall submissions. So every month, PSA releases these really cool PSA by the numbers items, and you know, they're pretty cool, they're pretty neat. I like looking at them just to kind of get an idea. Obviously, we expect to see many of the very popular sports, things like basketball, football, Pokemon has become its own distinct category and is no longer lumped in with things like Yu-Gi-Oh! They've kind of parsed them out as time has gone on, and these cards and these hobbies specifically have become very popular. But what I think is interesting is that Pokemon is on the up again. So it's overtaken basketball, presumably maybe as the season kind of died out. I don't know. But as a result, Pokemon is now in the number 2 spot, with only baseball being higher. And again, that makes sense because if you think about it, September is the month of the last set of games usually for the MLB regular season, and October is normally when the majority of the postseason of MLB baseball here in the States will occur. So it makes sense that, you know, maybe it's popular seasonally. Now, interestingly enough, what I think this tells us is, hey, TCG is still very popular. And so, here's a bulk special for you, should you be a member. Now, again, at this particular rate, you're saving $5 a card, which means it only takes you 20 cards to justify your $99 subscription. So, that leads me to a very interesting conundrum. Should you submit trading cards at this particular point in time? Now, I'm not going to answer for everybody. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision based on a variety of factors. But I will say this. For me, my logic is that I will not be submitting trading cards at this number. For me, I'm going to hold out until $9 a card. And I do think we will get there in time. Now, again, just to kind of show you where we are. With members-only grading access right now, the current model is set up such that $18 a card is your everyday price. If, and this is my logic, if PSA is willing to launch a quarterly special at $15 and it does not get them the number of cards they were expecting to keep their business operating at full capacity, they may decide to put this at $15 and then lower this to $12. And then again, this is just one company operating in and of itself. So we're not even taking into consideration the idea that maybe CGC is going to say, okay, well, we'll do $13 a card for our special, which will force PSA's hand to compete or lose out on business. So I think that creates a really good situation. Here's the genuine truth of the matter. The economy is really bad right now. We got this going on, we got that going on, there's too much going on. And so, in reality, the genuine truth of the matter is there's not enough money like there was back in 2020 and 2021 flowing into the hobby. The only difference is PSA, CGC, BGS, they built up these huge businesses, hired more people, prepared for such a high, heavy influx of trading cards, or cards to be graded in general, doesn't matter if they're TCG or non-TCG. And now they will need to find ways to invite people to submit those cards to them for the long run, because genuinely speaking, if we've created a huge monster grading facility, we need to use that grading facility now. Otherwise, it's going to be an investment that as a business I've now made that is going to waste. It's not being utilized fully, and frankly, that just costs me and my investors a lot of money. And by the way, Collectors Universe is in fact a business that has to answer at the end of the day to its business structure as well as the people who own that business. So in theory, the best thing that you can do right now, at least in my humble opinion, is wait it out. The economy is flashing signals that things may already be bad, but it may not have bottomed out yet. And what that means is that every company, doesn't matter the industry, will feel the wrath of the economy. Again, what that means for your average daily collector is that while $15 a card might be cheap from a certain perspective, the beautiful part of everything is that I believe the economy is going to force this number to be lower. Competition is going to force this number to be lower. And what you'll find is that the average is genuinely going to decrease over time. Because again, people aren't grading trading cards with the same velocity they were at the end of 2019, early 2020, and throughout the heat of the pandemic boom. Instead, people are going to be holding on to their money. They're not going to want to put their money in risky crypto assets, and they're not going to want to spend frivolous amounts of money unsure of what the economy holds for the short run or even the medium term. And as a result, for people who are patient, I believe it will be an excellent time to grade a ton of Pokemon cards or any card you want at a really great price. You just have to be patient and you have to weather the storm, because we're still seeing some residual effects, but I do believe, as I started this video out saying, we are seeing the beginning of the end of these high pandemic era prices, because they just have to open their doors back up and get used to grading cards at a more normal, quote-unquote, normal price. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, hey, consider leaving a like on the video. And hey, while you're at it, you might want to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If by the time this video comes out and or sometime during the life of this video's initial 48 hours we hit 1,600 subscribers, I want to say shout out to each and every single one of you. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you to all the friends who check out videos consistently, show support, show up, comment. Whether you've been here from day one or day whatever it is, I don't know, like 9,000, I appreciate you. You could have genuinely been anywhere on the internet, but you chose to spend some time with me, and that means the world. Other than that, let me know down below how those Charizard UPC pre-orders are going. Fun fact, I don't have any, so you might see video of me running through Target trying to find one. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I have like 900 trading cards that I want to get graded, but yeah, I'm not paying 15 bucks a card. No way, not happening. So it is in my vested interest and my best interests that this price go down, but I genuinely do believe it will, and that's just a matter of the market and history playing itself out again. Time and time again, we've seen preconceived notions about what Pokemon card prices will do post-pandemic be wrong, whether it be the MSRP booster box or whether it be the value of cards never crashing again. Obviously, those people were very incorrect, and I think this is yet another example of something that people thought and acted on way too quickly, and now there'll probably be some buyer's remorse on the back end. But yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks friends. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday, and we will talk soon. Peace.